Hello everyone, Satisfied Beard here, and we're bringing you another RuneStrike video. This time it is episode 3 of the free-to-play account stuff. We're talking about starter champions, so Magus, Brienne, and Crow in this video. And also too, if you watch Sunday's video, I've told you I would make sure I stay on point here so that we don't get off track and we talk about what we need to talk about. Went and got a notebook to keep myself on track. Before we actually jump into the video here, though, if this is your first time here, please consider hitting that subscribe button down below, of course, and that bell so you get notifications of when we upload videos here. And if you're liking this content, hit that thumbs up, of course, or just go ahead and punch it straight in the mouth. Whatever you totally feel like doing, it's up to you. And last but certainly not least, if you have any questions for me, go ahead and leave it down in the comment section below. So, without any further ado, we're going to just jump right into it, and we're going to jump to our first champion, Magus. All right, we got Magus here. We're going to talk about like the blood abilities, the realms. As you can see, he plays order and myth. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. These champions, they each have their own realms, which is very nice for us as new players, or even so we can, or free-to-play players as well too, because we can kind of learn the in and outs of each of the realms, like the strength and the weaknesses of each realm as well too, possibly as we're playing these champions, because we don't get as much resources compared to the people that actually spend money. So we spend more time with these champions sometimes. So jumping into Magus's blood abilities here, as you can see, they're the A1 ability costs 2 blood, and we get to draw a rune, and it costs 1 less. Very, very valuable for us, because for you as a player, especially if you're looking for a specific card, your win condition card sometimes maybe, or whatever, being able to cycle through your deck a little bit faster helps you out a little bit for sure. The A2 ability, 3 blood, and you get to gain 2 mana to go from, if you're at turn 6, to go up to turn 8 basically, and be able to play a turn 8 card. I don't see this one played enough, honestly, so I can't comment on about like if it's great, but I think it's okay. It's not something I would do every single time. The only time I would do it is if I have that kind of a play, as I said, if we're on turn 6 and I'm able to go to turn 8, or if I'm on turn 7, I can go to turn 9, kind of deal thing, to get a card out sooner than my opponent was expecting. The last one, though, 4 blood, it gives us an arcane construct to target empty slot, so we're able to pick where we want it at. And as you can see, it's a free body basically. It's a 3/6. It has anchor on it, so it means your opponent cannot bounce it back into your hand or nothing. And it's right in that sweet spot, as you can see as well too. It's a 5 cost, so it cannot be removed by hard removal spells that your opponent may be running in certain kind of decks. This ability, the A1 ability and the A3 ability, are definitely spells, or the abilities that are played more often that I've seen people play against me personally, just because they hold more value in a sense. Like the first one, again, as I said, you're able to cycle through your deck a little bit faster, finding those cards that you're looking for and being able to play them in combination with some other cards that you may have in your hand as well too. And the A3 ability, being able to get a body at a 3/6 to be a blocker for you, by all means, go for it. The A2 ability, again, I don't think it's very good. At the end of the day, personally, I would stick to the first and the third. Sporadically, maybe the second one here and there as you're playing your games, kind of get a feel for it, see if you can do it. A couple of decks that you may want to kind of consider for him. The first one, as you can see, I actually have a deck, the Soldier Magus deck. This can be more aggressive, so again, aggressive decks are cheaper decks, as we know. Personally, if you've played any of the other CCGs, they are the cheaper decks. The other deck that I've seen people play with Magus is a Spell Cycle deck. It's a little bit more of a learning curve because of what you're trying to pull off as well too. So if you're looking for a kind of a deck to go with at the beginning of Magus's, starting him out, I would lean towards the Soldier and then try to build into maybe the Spell Cycle deck if that's something that you want to consider. So that's Magus in a nutshell. Overall, he's a solid champion. He's a good champion. I've seen him do quite well on the PvP ladder, and he can hold his own against in the campaign modes as well too, for sure. So yeah, that's him. Now we're gonna jump over to Brienne. Brienne. Here we have Brienne. As you can see, she is light and chaos for her realms. And her abilities are, her first ability costs 3 blood for us, and it deals 3 damage to enemy and 1 damage to any adjacent minions. However, we have to remember for her, this A1 ability, it can actually go face, which is very nice to help us finish off opponent, especially if we have them at like 7 health and we have a bunch of blockers and they have a bunch of blockers in front of us and there's no way we're getting through this turn. We can send this face to finish the game for us, basically. We have to remember though that the A1 ability, this says deal 3 damage. So the damage is physical damage. So if your opponent has any kind of shields, you have to get through the shields, and this is what that takes a little bit away from the shield as well too. Does not attack the health of either the enemy champion or the enemy cards that you're targeting as well too. So yes, this is not going to work on that, or even protected creatures as well too. Remember that. So that's the thing with this one. Don't target protected creatures with this, because it will not do anything to them. You just wasted 3 blood basically on your opponent basically. The second ability, it's a 4 cost. You get counter on Brienne, and the attacker takes damage equal to your attacks or Brienne's attack, which is 4. That's how much you do for 1 turn back to them. However though, they're still doing the damage to you. So if they're a 5 attack, they're doing 5 damage to you. This ability, I don't see people play it. I've seen it a few times. I've done it a few times as well too. It's just not very good, honestly. I don't feel like it's lacking. It needs to be, I think it needs to be reworked personally into something else, or even to where maybe the attacker deals half damage to Brienne in this sense. Maybe. I'm not again, just throwing out an idea of something that I've been thinking about to make this a little bit better for her, for you, and that may make it get to see more play possibly. But right now it doesn't see that much play, because for 1 extra blood you can hold on to, you get to conjure a warrior and it gains +2/+2 worth of stats and blitz. So that's why people don't play the A2 ability, because I'm going to wait 1 extra turn, get this warrior, and if you want to go type warrior into your card collection, you will see the warriors that you can pull from this A3 ability. It's good, and it will be good, honestly, for right now, because of the card pool is small. So use it while you can, because it could always get changed here in the future, but who knows with what's going to happen with this game and everything. So yeah, overall, I think she's really good. She's really, really good. She can be aggro as well too. She's not as good aggro. She might be like getting to her 3rd ability, A3 ability. It bumps her up definitely. You can compete for sure. I think Magus can be a little bit better with his decks, but also too, don't blink on Brienne. She's really good aggressive. Also too, I believe Brienne can be a good control deck as well too. You may be thinking, well, what the heck? Why control? Because light and chaos have some really good control spells to like in the card collections and everything like that you can kind of build towards and build her that way instead. So yeah, but again, overall, I think she's solid. She's really good. She did really well for me in PvP modes, and she's done really well like in every aspect of this game. Definitely, I would if I was to go back and replay this again, knowing how Brienne plays now, I would have focused more on her right from the get-go over Magus, because that's who I focused on with a little bit more. Magus over Brienne and Crow. So yes, that's my final opinion right there with that one. So now we're going to jump into Crow. Here we have Crow. As you can see, he finishes us out with Nature and Shadow. So every single starter champion has their own combination of realms, which I really, really liked that they made it that way, so we can again feel out each realm and see how each realm kind of plays for when we start getting into the game a little bit further and we do other things and stuff, of course. Now, his abilities, I just don't know. Like, personally, I think they're okay, but they're also meh as well too to me. Like the A1 ability is expensive. It is the most expensive A1 ability with all of them. With Magus being the cheapest. However, though, as you can see, it says target enemy minion loses 5 health. So this goes through shields. So that's valuable compared to what Brienne's A1 ability does. It does physical damage. This just straight up attacks the health. So even if they have a shield on there, or even if it's protected, it still attacks the health of it, or an evade or whatever. If it's evading a creature, it attacks the health still. So that's huge for us. I don't know, like this is the one that I've used the most, the A1 ability, honestly. The A2 for 2 blood, when it is killed, you restore health equal to its attack power. So you kind of want to be targeting the bigger attack creatures if possible. And also, as you can see in the parentheses, it says does not stack. This used to stack, so make sure that we're not throwing this onto the same minion like for 2 to 3 turns. There's no benefit of that. This ability takes a little bit of a setup, as you can see, because that minion needs to die for you to gain the benefit of it. Is it difficult to pull off? No. But also to your opponent, if they start seeing this when you do it, because they can see the graphics of it, of this ability, they can, if they have stuff in their hand to kind of heal up that target and everything like that, to kind of put it out of range to where you're not going to be able to kill it for a few turns, or you may not even be able to kill it all, and now you've used 2 blood on something that just got out of hand, and you're like, well, I wasted 2 blood and I could have waited maybe 2 more turns to get -5 health instead and just dealt with it or whatever. But don't not use this, because it is still okay. It's still good. It's not great, again, as I think Brienne's A3 ability is great, and Magus's A1 ability is great as well too. It's just, again, good to me personally. And then his A3 ability is 5 blood, and this is another one of those that you just don't see used in matches, because this takes so much setup. Basically, you want the whole board to yourself, in a sense, and like, or maybe even like maybe 4 minions on the board to be able to pull this off, really, because dangerous means when your minions attack, they deal double damage to the enemy champion. So you can really push some damage. And I actually had it happen to me once in a match. My hand just really sucked. I just didn't get anything, and my opponent had like 4 minions on the board. They had 5 blood. They hit the A3 ability for Crow, and they pushed damage like no other. And I was like, yep, that's pretty much the match right there. But it just takes so much setup that people usually just stay away from this, and they play they use the A1 ability over the A3 ability. You know, like I said, unless you see it coming to where you're like, I'm going to have this board to myself, and I'm at 4 blood right now, and I'm going to get a 5th blood, and we're just going to push damage as much as we possibly can. With that, Crow is interesting, because if you ask people kind of what Crow wants to be and play for style of decks, people really don't know, because we don't see enough Crow on the ladder. I know people have played Crow in the campaign modes, and they've done really well with him there as well too, so he's pretty solid there for sure. And it's his A1 ability helping out. His A2 helps out as well too, because you're playing against the AI as well too, so remember that. I feel like Crow kind of wants to maybe be a mid-range kind of deck. Like, I like Crow as Earthen, and more of that if you watch the one with nature deck like that I posted here on the channel and everything. I really like that deck. That deck is a lot of fun to me personally. But yeah, he's just interesting, just because I don't think a lot of people have a lot of like matches with him, and like he's underused just because of his abilities are just expensive, and people don't know what he wants to be at the end of the day. So what we're going to do as well too, that I see here, that we got 290 gold, I see. So what we're going to do, we're going to jump to the cards and the pack unlocking, and we're going to actually unlock a pack. So I'll see you there. All right, we're here where we unlock our packs, and as you can see, we have our one pack and down to 90 gold. Let's go. Let's see what we can get. They this is a side note, just so you know, with the latest patch, they did change the pity timer for epics down to 10 cards. So every 10 packs, actually 10 cards, every 10 packs, you get a epic card in that pack. So it's very good. That's better for us as free-to-play players, since we're not using this kind of same kind of resources that a person that may be using some money to get ahead and everything like that. I got another rare. Most likely got it already. Yeah. Oh well, it is what it is at the end of the day. So that's it for this video. If you have any ideas of what you may want to see for the next video, leave it down in the comment section for me, and we'll go with whatever comes up, or I'll come up with, if we don't get anything, come up with my own subject again, of course. So if you made it this far, I appreciate you as always. And until next time, hopefully your adventures are always satisfying.